I'm excited to welcome to the Crystal Cave stage, Hailey Lowe Fennell.
Thank you, Jess, so much. That was a beautiful introduction. And thank you, Creative Mornings, for having me here today. This is such an honor. Thank you, Mars, for opening up this space for us. I know that you guys all felt it when you walked into this space. It just feels like something else. The connection is just naturally here. So thank you so much for letting this talk happen here. And thank you to this entire community for holding space for conversations like this to happen. Like Jess said, I'm Hailey Lowe Fennell. I'm host of the podcast Health Guest, which is where I give readings and I connect people to the other side. We also interview local people in the community, and so I can't wait for you guys to listen to that. And I'm also a business partner with Court Bechtel of Pack Supply. We are starting a business where we are helping people move through grief and in the times where words often fall short or we just simply don't know what to say. So keep an eye out for that. And
I think if I can touch unit, but there again.
Thank you. And I believe that imagination is connection. And like Jess just said, connection happens when we learn how to trust ourselves even deeper. Throughout this talk, I'm going to use the word universe. You guys can interchange that or switch that with whatever word holds the most meaning for you. Crossroads is something that we all come by, right? We've all felt those moments where we just didn't know how to move forward. Maybe we felt a little stuck. And like it was said before, it is often sometimes much more quiet than we think it's going to be. It's just these moments where we are having a hard time understanding why we are not interested in the things we used to be interested in and how to move forward. If you're anything like me, you might have come to a moment where it was so hard to move forward that you knew that no matter what, you're going to have to do something different. My moment was when I realized that I could communicate with dead people. I know that sounds a little bit wild, but I promise that absolutely everybody here can have that same connection too. It is not just a gift that I'm born with. I truly believe and know that it is something we are all capable of doing. And I do it for my job now. It is one of my life purposes. So I continue to grow and get deeper and deeper with it. But I would like for all of us to open up a little bit today and use your imagination and use your trust and see if we can deepen that connection, whether it's to those on the other side like I do, or even if it's just to yourself, your guides, even your pets or other loved ones. And today I want to talk about those moments and what it looks like to just trust yourself again. So I'm going to begin and end this talk with a practice. And you get to decide how deep it's going to go. I was just talking the other day for the podcast with Carter Foxworth of the Work Cycle. And if you've ever been to a cycle class that's kind of dark or a workout class that's dark, you're the only one that knows how hard it's going to be, right? You're the only one that's turning that knob up or down. It's the same thing with connection. You guys are going to be the only ones that know if this is going to be deep for you today. And if today's a light day, it needs to be a light day. Or if it's somewhere in between, that's perfect too. But you guys get to decide how deep this practice is going to be. And the best part about it is you can always come back to it later. So we're going to do half of it now and half of it later. And I'm going to invite you to do this part in your mind. And if you will, just start closing your eyes. It can be soft. And if you feel more comfortable leaving your eyes open, that's fine too. But just get really comfortable. And I want you to think of a person who has passed away from your life. If you're more comfortable thinking of a pet or your own soul or a guide, which may be someone you haven't met from this lifetime, then that's perfect as well. They can be any phase from your lifetime, any age, from any time of life. And just take a moment to start visualizing them. You can imagine them anywhere. They can be wearing anything. And just start to put those pieces together in your mind's eye. And I just want you to trust that the person who is in your mind right now is the person you most need to connect with and hear from in this moment. And then just take a really big deep breath. And I want you to think of the name that they would have called you. For most of us, it's just our given name, but it might be a nickname for some. And what you're going to do is you're going to start making a note or a reminder from themselves directly to you. And in your mind, I want you to hear them say, they can be in your voice or in theirs. They say hi in your name. And then they say, I want you to know that I'm here and I support you. Things are different where I am now, and I fully see, hear, and know you, even more than I did before. I'll always be here for you to connect with. And then take a really big deep breath. We're going to leave it here for now. And don't overthink it. We've got tissues. They're coming in the inside. I thought I was going to go into comedy, and it turns out I'd make people cry. And we're just going to pass around. If anyone needs them, just kind of lightly raise your hand. But we're going to leave that practice here for now. We are going to come back to it later. Just lightly keep holding that person in your mind throughout the rest of the talk. Thank you, Lindsay. Guys, this is Lindsay. She's my producer for this podcast. And if you want to listen to a really cool podcast, you can listen to F&B Radio, which is her own podcast. Or if you have podcast ideas, she's the woman to reach out to. Okay, so I didn't always know that I was a psychic comedian. You would think that I was this kid that already knew, that people knew, but I didn't have the support system around me or the people that had the vocabulary around me to tell me that this is what I was doing all along. I'm the middle child of 3 girls. I am from Atlanta. I now have 2 kids. I'm a wife. I'm a business partner. And I absolutely love what I do. But there was a huge part of myself that I kept quiet for quite some time, only because I just didn't have the vocabulary around it. But I did always feel it. I could sense things, hear things, know things. And I just didn't know how to talk about it. And I was talking to my business partner, Court, the other day, and she reminded me of this story. When I was in college, we share a best friend, Jen Teller, and I was telling Jen that I was in college, and I was telling Jen that I hear voices at night when I fall asleep and just lay down in bed. It's like all of the voices come, and they sound like other people, and didn't they hear them too? And look, we're like halfway through the talk right now, so you guys aren't allowed to commit me at this point. She was like, no, people don't hear voices. I don't hear voices. And some of you in here might have that same experience too, but that was probably the first time that I realized that something different was going on. And fast forward a few years, I came to my very first, very real crossroads. I had my second kid, my son. His name is Rowdy, and he is just the sweetest baby, but I was definitely going through a bit of postpartum, and I wasn't interested in the art that I was doing before. Before I did this, I was a multimedia artist working in video, and I loved what I was doing. It felt easy. It felt like just enough of a challenge, and I came to a spot where I just couldn't do it anymore, and it was the oddest feeling that I've ever felt. Something that was so effortless became the most trying thing in my life. Looking back now, I can see it so much more clearly that it was this really quiet, subtle sign from the universe that I was just meant to shift, that this crossroads wasn't meant to end me, that it was meant to push me forward into something even more meaningful for me. And I would like to share that with all of you. Just like it was said earlier, Crossroads aren't always this big, loud thing. Sometimes it is more about listening to the very small, very subtle yeses and nos rather than waiting for the loud ones. And that's the whole point. And sorry. When we step into action, we get more clarity. And that's always the answer, that one step into the things that we want to do equals more clarity. I also came to the point where I thought, okay, all right, I'm going to turn to the universe. I wouldn't even consider myself spiritual at the time, but I turned to what I call the universe and still do. And it said, if not art, then what? And the answer pretty quickly came to me. I was led to question, what if I just turned towards my 9-year-old self and asked her, what would she be most proud to hear that I'm doing right now? And the answer was always something around ghosts or ghost hunters. I mean, she would think like that was the coolest thing ever. And it always was like, but the coolest, most ultimate thing would to be like Teresa Caputo. Like if I could go around and tell people that I talk to dead people and give them messages from the other side, that would be the ultimate. So I knew what I wanted to do. I knew that psychic mediumship was it. And I obviously just ignored it because that's what we do sometimes. We just ignore the answers that are so easily right in front of us because they feel too big, bold, powerful. They feel like they're not quite for us. I did try, though. I did put one step in front of the other. And I was having a great conversation with Christian, where is he? Somewhere in the room, who is a Reiki master Ken. And I went into Reiki. I went and got my level 1 Reiki. I absolutely loved it and very much immediately knew that it wasn't for me. It was just something that I enjoyed going to do. I was like, I want all the Reiki done on me, and I just don't think I'm the Reiki practitioner. So I jumped from that to astrology and started giving astrology readings to family and friends. Absolutely loved it. I mixed in some human design in there, fell in love with human design, but also had this deep knowing that it wasn't something for me. We have another human design student here. And it was just one of those things where I was like, okay, I feel myself taking these steps, and now all I have to do is to trust that wherever this is leading me to the right spot. Let's see. So just like it says, don't keep the big, brave, bold ideas whispering at the back of your mind. If it's what you want, then it's for you. I say this all the time in readings. People ask me all the time, like, hey, what are my guides saying? How can they help me? I'm having trouble in this area. I want to know what to do with my life. And I feel you, me too. I would like to know. But the answer is always, it is so much less about what they want from us and more about us trusting what we want for ourselves. If it's something that we want and we just have a deep knowing around it, even if it's scary, then we move on and we do it scared. Let's see. I'm going to say this one other part. The bigger I get with it, it grows. And the braver I am with it, the more I trust it. The bolder I am with it, the more aligned I feel. And the more I get to help people, the deeper I get to step into this work. So this is what trust looks like for me now. It is short rituals. I don't often meditate. I'm pretty busy throughout the day with work, life, mind stuff. So it's not always about sitting down for hours and hours and meditating, but if I can find little moments in there, it's great. For me, it's movement, it's meditation, small rituals, my kids, doing something grounding with them, taking them to the beach, finding shells with them. It's dinner with friends. And my favorite is a really good house purge, just cleaning out my house, getting rid of all of the things that I don't need any longer. It's really hard to clean out your house and not come out on the other side of that with some clarity around what to do with your life. Those are just little examples. Like it doesn't always, if we don't have time for the big things, we can always turn to one of these little things. So I try to do all of those, at least here and there. But most importantly, I honor the practicality of it and the magic of it at the same time. I am now just listening more intentionally to all of the in-between moments. And I'm able to put all of those voices that I hear in my head and all of the visuals that I see out in front of me into categories now, so that when I am giving greetings, I know that the information coming through is for the people that I'm sitting with, and it doesn't have to be this hot mess inside my head all the time. I'm able to tune in and tune out now, kind of, sort of, not all the time, but for the most part, and I feel better. And I get to choose what I do with what I feel. We think we want clarity, but what we really want is trust. We think we want to know what's next, but what we need to know is ourselves. Trust comes from within. It's what we look for in others, but we have to give it to ourselves first. We want people to say, I see you, I hear you, I know you. But what we really need to say to ourselves is, I see, hear, and know me. After Reiki and astrology and all of the other little things that I tried, I went to an intuitive class with another local psychic medium. Her name is Carol Cottrell, and I highly recommend her. She is wonderful. She is another psychic medium, and she was maybe one of the first people that I was led to and met locally that I thought, okay, like if she's doing it, I think I can do it. And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go to her class and she's gonna tell me that I'm a psychic medium. And then, universe, I promise, I'll lean in and I'm gonna do it. But she's gotta tell me, right? Like she's gonna tell me I'm a psychic medium, and then I'll know that this is my purpose, that this is my path. You guys know what happened, right? She did not tell me I was a psychic medium. Not once, not at all. She was incredibly supportive and loving and an incredible guide, and is still a mentor of mine. But she didn't tell me that I was it. So I went home and I contemplated it, not for all that long, but it hit me pretty soon that the only person that can tell me that what I do and what I want to do and who is it is me. I get to be the person that tells me that I'm it. I'm a psychic medium today because I decided to be a psychic medium. And there's nothing more powerful than getting to tell yourself that you belong in this space, that you get to invite yourself to the table that you want to belong to. I'm sure some of you in here have already heard of signs and symbols, which would be all of the things that you see, hear, and sometimes know that make you think of the person or pet or people or guides that you have supporting you on the other side. But just in case anyone doesn't know, I'll give an example. Whenever I see, and this is going to be a common one in the room, a cardinal, I think of my grandfather on the other side. So when I see a red cardinal, I know that he's around me. Yours might be something like a cardinal, a dragonfly, a butterfly, a penny. That one's one of my favorites. A hawk, which is more of like a guide for me, but it can be something different for you. Lights flickering and songs on the radio. I always like hearing that one in readings. But here's the thing. You might see that sign or symbol again and again and again. You might see that cardinal so many times that at some point you start to doubt it. I'm right there with you. I've been there many times. I still do it to myself, even doing what I do. But we are going to play a little game. It's called a cascading game. Shout out to any of the improv artists that are in here, because it has something to do with the cascading game that you would play in an improv class. But we are going to go back to the practice from the very beginning, and we are going to deepen it even more. So take a really big, deep breath and close your eyes just one more time, or just soften them if that feels better to you. And hold the person you thought of again in your mind. And if you already have a sign for them, then say, you are this sign or memory to me, whatever it is. And if you don't have one yet, just keep listening and take another really big, deep breath. and then ask them, what or what else can you be? What other memory, good, calm, neutral, can you show me? Show me one that leads to a new or another sign from you. And we're just going to sit for a moment. So take another big, deep breath. The memories or the signs might feel light right now, and that's just it starting to come through, maybe even in a new way. Just take another really big, deep breath. You may have an immediate answer, or it may just be tripling in. As long as it feels good, calm, neutral, and supportive, I want you to trust it. As you think of this sign or symbol or memory, I want you to start to trust yourself even more. Trust that this is connection. It really is that easy, and you just made it. Keeping your eyes closed or softened, we're going to return to what we were starting earlier and take a really big deep breath. We're going to finish the note or the reminder that is going to live in your head, starting with I, and your name or nickname. I want you to know that I'm here and I support you. Things are different where I am now, and I fully see, hear, and know you, even more than I did before. I'm here for you to connect with. I will show you I'm around by showing you the sign, symbol that we just connected with, and by helping you remember who you are and what you want. And I trust you to just keep going, because you already know the way and you've known it this whole time. And then one more big deep breath. You can open your eyes when you're ready. Thank you guys so much for listening. Thank you.